Hello, this is Chris, Metallic and 25, and
This is Sergeant Waffles or Connor.
this is NBDB Gaming, and we're bringing you our first Gears of War 2 video today. It's a game of Warzone on Pavilion, and yeah, that's about it. Take it away.
You're using the hammerburst. So we just want to say again, like in our first video, we're going to be posting some Gears of War gameplays, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3 probably, maybe some Battlefield 3, all the good stuff.
And basically we're probably going to alternate between Gears of War 2 commentaries and Black Ops commentaries. That seems like the most likely scenario for now. So yeah, you can just subscribe if you want to, and you know, if you like Gears, we'll put that up. If you like Call of Duty, we'll put that up. So don't worry about that.
So first we're going to talk about the Lancer versus the Hammerburst. But we'll start with Gears 2 first.
A lot of the people in the community use the Lancer. They like the chainsaw, but I just think that personally, it's probably the better weapon because of its ridiculous accuracy and the 50-shot clip that it has, and it helps that it's automatic.
And the Hammerburst, even though it is very powerful, it does only have 17 shots in the clip, so it's kind of difficult to kill someone sometimes if you're missing or whatever, so you might have to reload within one kill. Unless you get the active, of course.
And it's very powerful and semi-automatic or automatic if you really want to, but that's not really too effective. But it lowers recoil.
Now in Gears 3, the Hammerburst is probably about the same power, but they raised the shots from 17 to 20.
And you can aim down the sights.
Yeah, you can aim down the sights from the first-person view.
And that's why I prefer that gun in Gears of War 3. At least in my experience with it in the beta. I can only assume that it'll be the same in the full game.
And it has a lot less recoil also. Because in Gears 2, it's just jumping all over the place, especially if you zoom in.
And then there's a Lancer Gears 3, which has it has the bullet drop.
The balloon.
The balloon, yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
And personally, that's my favorite weapon in Gears 3, although I don't like it too much in Gears 2, but I use it anyway because it's better than the Hammerburst. But in Gears 3, it's really fun to use, and they raised the clip size to 60 from 50, which in my opinion is kind of unnecessary because 50 is already a lot. And I like how in Gears 3 you can melee with it if you're close enough, and if you just tap B as opposed to holding it for the chainsaw. So that's always good.
I'd say overall in Gears of War 2 I choose the Lancer, Gears of War 3 I choose the Hammerburst.
Now moving on to the power weapons of Gears of War.
We'll start with Gears of War 2 again, and I'd say that usually I will try to get Boom Shot or Hammer of Dawn, because usually those weapons are fought for less than the other ones depending on the map. For example, on Jacinto, where a lot of people will go try to get the Sniper or Torque Bow, I usually try to get the other weapon. I would say that about 75% of the time.
Now for me, it's a little different. I usually go to the Boom Shot, but I would prefer the Sniper, because I seem to do the best with that. Although the Torque is probably easier to use, the Sniper would help the team better. Because, for example, if two people are shotgunning each other like across the map and no one's there to help them, if I put one shot into them, that would most likely down them, so I can help the team that way.
And especially since the Sniper spawns on a Hammer of Dawn round on Jacinto, it's really helpful to prevent people from using the Hammer of Dawn effectively if you're good enough with the Sniper. And the Sniper is one of my favorite power weapons also, along with probably the Boom Shot. And Torque Bow, I enjoy using it, but I'm not very good with it. I'm alright, but not exceptionally good.
Alright, let's move on to our favorite game types.
We most often play Guardian, definitely.
I enjoy playing Warzone, but unless you have at least 2 or 3 people, I usually end up losing, because most of the time my team isn't very good. But in Gears 3, since I don't have regular Guardian, it's Capture the Leader. And if you didn't know, it's basically the same rules, except instead of killing the leader, you have to take him as a meat shield for 30 seconds. And the longer the leader stays alive, like if you couldn't hold him for 30 seconds, the amount of time you need to hold him will go drop down. And eventually it even drops down like below 10 seconds if the game's going on that long.
And I also, in Gears of War 3, I liked King of the Hill. Was really fun in Gears of War 3. Better than Gears of War 2 in my opinion. And also the dedicated servers might have had a role in that.
See, in Gears of War 3, King of the Hill, they combined Annex and King of the Hill. But in Gears of War 2 and Annex, it would keep moving, and you didn't have to stay in the hill to capture points. But now in Gears 3, it will continue to move, but you have to be in the hill at all times if you want to get points from it.
And on the new weapons in Gears of War 3,
my personal favorite is the Digger launcher, because it's easy to get people around cover because you just shoot it. If you shoot it in the ground, if you didn't know, you'll shoot it and it will lob depending on how far up you aim, and when it hits them, it's an instant kill. And if you shoot it into the ground, it will go into the ground and shoot forward until it hits somebody, and then it'll pop up and usually kill them unless they know it's there and dive out of the way.
I actually really like the Gorgon SMG. I found it to be a really useful pistol or secondary to use. I actually used it quite a bit, and I, even after the execution, of course, to use the execution, and because I like the weapon.
And they also added the one shot, which we got to use, and it was fun. It was fun to use, but since it was only on trenches, and a lot of people would rush it because it was the new weapon, we didn't really get to use it a whole lot.
That actually will bring us perfectly into the maps of the beta anyway, since all the other maps haven't really been revealed yet. I think Trenches wasn't my favorite. I don't think it was a terrible map, but it was not my favorite. I don't know about you.
I did not like Trenches very much, mostly because of the glitch that when you killed somebody, their weapon would drop through the ground. So with that glitch fixed, it'll probably be more enjoyable. So I was running out of shotgun ammo very often on that map.
I also think that there should be a pistol spawn on that map. Like, for those of you that play the beta, if you walk forward from the spawn and up into the corner of the map, I think on one side of the map there's a minecart up there, or both sides actually, and they could just spawn a pistol back there. It would go perfectly with the boom shield that's on the map. That's kind of useless. But
my personal favorite spawn, my personal favorite map from the beta was probably Checkout, mostly because it was relatively symmetrical. Both sides of the map were pretty much the same. And Thrashball was probably my least favorite if I'm playing Team Deathmatch, because there's only one spawn on each side and it was very easy to spawn camp on there. And
if somebody just went up into the concession stand area, it was really easy for them just to control the game and dominate it. Especially in Team Deathmatch, basically. But
I did hear recently, I think it was Rod Ferguson, he said that there were spawn trapping problems on maps like Thrashball, so they said they were going to try to add new ways to get out of the spawn.
I hope that they can add one when you spawn in the spawn. You can either move left or right and try to get out that way. I think that would be really good to prevent spawn trapping.
There were a couple things in the beta that I personally think need to be changed, like the sawed-off shotgun, for example. Even though it only has one shot and has a very long reload, you don't really even have to aim, or even be you can be relatively far away to get the one shot down on them. And you can easily get 2 or 3 people with one shot if they're close enough.
My personal opinion on the sawed-off is mostly the same. I just think that instead of I don't think the sawed-off should be allowed to down you. I think that it should just do a lot of damage. If you're really that close, you could switch to your snub and get the kill. Whatever. I think that's just a lot better, because the sawed-off bothered me so much, and I think the crosshairs could also be a little smaller, so you don't have this ridiculous range of killing somebody if they're on your screen.
And personally, I think they should have made it a power weapon. They could have easily given it 2 shots in the clip and maybe a little bit more range, and it could have been a power weapon. And I personally would have liked that a lot more.
And moving on to other weapons, there's the Retro Lancer. The Retro Lancer, I think that the hip fire was way too strong on that weapon.
Aiming down sights wasn't that bad because it was hard to get kills from a distance. But if someone was close, like 90% of the time, it was better to use a Retro Lancer than it was to use a Gnasher, which doesn't really make sense because the Retro Lancer is an assault rifle.
Shotgun should always beat an assault rifle.
And there was one weapon that we don't know about yet. Well, we know it exists, called the Vulcan, but it was not in the beta, so we didn't get to use it. And it sounds something similar to like the one-shot or mulcher in the fact that like it would be a regular weapon that you'd pick up. It seems like it'd be something that you would pick up, have to walk really slow with, maybe even a turret or something. But we did not get to see that yet. And now moving on to our favorite characters, which is not really as important, but it's always good to know.
I'm looking forward to using Clayton Carmine, and not only seeing what happens to him in the story. It seems like he's gonna live. From what I've seen, a lot of people want him to live. So that seems to be happening, and I just want to use him in multiplayer, really.
I will use Dizzy if Sam doesn't turn out to be the character I think she is. Because from what I've read about her, she seems like a pretty cool character. And I might even use Bernadette. I think her last name is Mataki.
Yeah.
But those are really 2 characters I want to use in Gears 3. And right now in Gears 2 I'm using Dizzy. So, yeah. And the characters that we don't like...
Let's start with Marcus.
I can't stand Marcus because he has really annoying voice. And he's just an idiot.
He says weird says weird things.
And then there's Min, who doesn't even have an Asian accent, so that's really disappointing. And yeah, that's about
it's a little stereotypical there, don't you think, huh?
It's all about the characters. So, what else to talk about?
What else to talk about? Well, in this game, I do have host in case you were wondering. But don't be afraid. Don't fret. I do have a 1.6 kill death ratio in Guardian. So it's not like I'm terrible, and host is the only reason I do good or do well, excuse me.
Excuse your English.
I don't quite remember what my kill death ratio is in Warzone, but I think it's pretty good.
Well, anyway, this game is about to wrap up. So please comment, rate, subscribe if you would like. Constructive criticism always.